Hello everyone, welcome back to Bascar Bricks, and today I got a Millennium Falcon for y'all. Now, despite being arguably one of the most iconic types of vehicles that come out of the LEGO Star Wars line, I've personally never actually owned one until recently. Now, this is the 2011 variant, meaning it's over a decade old nowadays, so it's definitely not the most detailed variant like the one that you can get, I believe, still on shelves today. But with its age comes a certain simplicity that is really appealing to me. You know, it has enough detail where it looks like the thing and it captures all of the main detail that it needs to. But what is left is a certain really iconic simplicity that I think really only inaccurate toys can have. So, yeah, let's just dive right into this bad boy. Alright, I'm going to need to get in shot here momentarily. And I'm keeping it at a wide angle, because real quickly, I'm going to try to show you all really what's happening here. A quick view of the back there, but, you know, of course, what we all want to see is kind of the Falcon from this angle. So so that's kind of what's happening here, as far as, you know, the overall shape of this, and kind of the look. Of course, it's kind of a bit difficult to get the whole entire look here from these kind of restrictive camera angles. Of course, here you can see the turret on the bottom. We got some flick fire missiles on this thing right on the bottom there. And as far as a thing goes, this, I honestly think it's really easy and kind of satisfying to hold. It feels right. But even then, there are still a few things where I can show you that we don't really need to bring the camera in further here. Now let's take a look at the cockpit, which actually can come right off. Now, I suspect that this was their attempt at making an escape pod, just making the whole thing come off. It's only in there with 2 Technic pins. It's very easy to take it out. Of course, you can remove, actually the entire thing just comes off, leaving you with this tiny cockpit. Unfortunately, you could probably squeeze 2 minifigs in there, though honestly, it's really only meant for 1. Which is unfortunate. I would have liked more room in here. Now, this is partially so cramped because of this massive 2x2 console here. If you were to remove all of the consoles in here, you could probably fit up to 3 minifigures. And if you just like throw them in there loose, you could probably get, I don't know. You could probably get a bunch in there. Like, there's a good amount of room in there, so. Now we have another quick feature, another place to put minifigs, which is if you take this top off here where the turret is, we can pull out another small little interior space where you see this small little cart, where you can put your gunner minifigs. And this slides in here pretty easy, you know. That's easy. Admittedly, the detail here isn't that great as far as this little cart goes, but it's a nice little addition, so. Yeah, now I guess let's get into what you really want to see. Let's open these pizza slices up and look inside. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and handle the camera one-handed here with my hand, so I apologize if you hear any shuffling of me or any weird camera angles. Not really super used to doing this, but let's get into the details here. Over here, you'll see a little bit of a control consoles and stuff. A lot of cool different prints there. I love the variety. A lot of great pieces. Kind of hard to see, but you even have an old-fashioned computer keyboard there. Maybe not realistic to Star Wars, but it's fun. I like it. You got spaces to put 2 minifigs. Now, I believe around all the around the edges here, you can just put minifigs just kind of standing, which is nice. Of course, here we have the classic hollow table. Admittedly, I would have liked a little bit more detail. I feel like even for the time, just putting some brown seats, not even tan seats here. A little bit lazy, but hey, what can you expect? And also down here, now let me see if I can get my hands in here on camera. Let's see, okay, so kind of hard to see, admittedly. Oh, wait. Okay, that's actually all I can get open. I believe that is for the ramp or storage space here. I'm gonna open that up in a separate shot and not try to just do that, you know, just right off the bat here. We actually have some beds here for some characters to, you know, sit down and get a rest. We got a coffee mug. There is the hyperdrive. We got a box there. I don't know to put something. I guess put hyperdrive stuff. Over here, this is their training spot here. We got a box presumably to hold a lightsaber of some sort. Oh my gosh. We got a helmet for Luke Skywalker and a training droid. And yes, that is the stands that they gave it. I don't know why that piece is there to hold it up. Yeah. Now, honestly, that's just about the interior. They give you a lot of open space. Honestly, as much as this seems like it's not that much, I think it's enough. And it also gives a lot of room to make customizations. And what's great about this is that really making customizations isn't that hard. You can put a lot of really simple stuff with a very few pieces to make some cool customization. So with that, let's take a really quick look at the bridge, and then we're looking at the minifigs. Alright, 2 quick corrections. One, I call it a bridge. I meant ramp. Sorry about that. And also that little compartment, that is a smuggler's compartment, not the ramp. Over here is the ramp. Now, it actually took me a minute to figure out how to get in there. I was expecting some sort of mechanism because honestly, it's been a minute since I've deployed the ramp, but nope. You just push it down, and I broke that. And yep, let's see, can we get down here? Well, yep, there it is. See that little white thing? Yeah, can't really get minifigs through there. And honestly, without lifting it up, you really got to get under there to get that thing up. So I feel like that would have been better if that wasn't just held by studs and there was like a bar you could pull and it just fling down. So I feel like that could have been done a little bit better. But yeah, that's the Millennium Falcon. Let's get on to the minifigs. Now, for such a big ship, you're going to need quite the crew. Luckily, the set comes with 6 minifigures to fill out the Millennium Falcon. We're going to start Chewbacca and just move our way down. So, starting with Chewbacca here, obviously this is a very outdated design. As far as Chewbacca's go, if you're looking for one, definitely get a modern one. He's cool from a historical standpoint, but he definitely does not come up to today's standards. And Han Solo is kind of a mixed bag in that sense, because I feel like the hair, today's hairpiece is just so good. It definitely makes this one, look a little bit outdated. The torso isn't bad. The opacity of the skin could be better, but those legs, that's some good printing on those legs. So, yep. And once again, similar things. Ben Kenobi here. Overall, this is a decent Ben Kenobi. Some good stuff here. Good. I like that torso print though. I think that the rest of him is a little bland, but this isn't too far off from what you want to see today. So, good figure in that sense. Princess Leia, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this face print of Princess Leia. I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. I do believe we do get an alternate expression here, which is okay. I don't know, to me this doesn't scream Carrie Fisher, facial-wise. We got the torso's not bad, though I would have liked a little bit of leg printing on her. Though overall, this is not a bad minifigure, but it's definitely not my favorite. Luke Skywalker, out of all of them, this is probably the most exceptional for the time. We get this great hair pieces I love. We get some leg printing, which the opacity on the white, that's actually fairly respectable, especially for the time. And I especially love the opacity on the skin tone there, a lot better than Han's over there. The printing on this guy's great. No back printing though. It was, 2011. Gotta cut him a little bit of slack. That is his first expression, then we get the second expression for when he's using the training helmet. Overall, the Luke's probably the best here, but we also have Darth Vader. As far as I'm concerned, this is the one and only Millennium Falcon to have a Darth Vader minifigure. So this specific set is trying to kind of replicate the escape from the Death Star when Ben and Darth Vader would go ahead and do their little battle. And I love that includes Darth Vader because, let's be honest, what kid doesn't love Darth Vader? And even as a almost adult myself, I still love Darth Vader. And that is definitely one of my favorite Darth Vader head prints that they ever made. This does use the whole helmet. And as charming as it is, I do think that the new ones are better. This is a great minifig, great inclusion. Overall, I know I've been a little bit critical here, but we do have to be honest with ourselves, but I do think this is a great cast of minifigures. There is definitely a little bit of a hole here. I feel like you gotta have at least one of the two droids, C-3PO or R2-D2. I don't expect always to give them both, but for Millennium Falcon, I feel like one of the two droids needed to be here. Now, I don't really think there's any minifigures here that should be taken out necessarily. I do think that while the Darth Vader is not necessary, he's an awesome addition to the set. So I would have liked maybe at least one more minifigure like a C-3PO or something. But besides that, not a whole lot of complaints here. Let's get on to my final thoughts. Alright, so as I'm saying my final thoughts, I kind of want to come over here and kind of show you it on display, on scale, next to other sizes of sets here, just to kind of give you an idea of the kind of the scale of this thing, kind of the visual significance it has on a shelf, as it really is an eye-catcher model. Now, I purposely put it on one of my lower shelves here, as it's one of those sets that it's ideal you look down upon, in my opinion. If you're going to display a Millennium Falcon, do it on a lower shelf. I wouldn't do it on the lowest shelf because I think you still want it to have some significance. Putting it all the way down maybe you won't make it as eye-catching, but still, you know, you want to look down. That's where all the sweet stuff is. If it's more like up here, you're going to get some awkward visual angles, at least in my experience, and, you know, just on how I like my displays. But overall, once again, it's very charming. The simplicity of it, I love it. I love this thing now. Of course, I would necessarily not recommend you get a Millennium Falcon. I've been collecting for about on and off 5 or 6 years now. Really, honestly, I've really only been getting into it seriously the last 3, maybe 4. And in all that time, I've never really had a Millennium Falcon until very recently. You don't need one, but if you do get your opportunity to get your hands on one, I'd recommend you go for it. They're really fun to own. That, everyone? That's my look at this bad boy. Of course, if you enjoyed, do all the YouTube crap, like, subscribe, all that. So, yep. See ya.